There's always so much more to be learned by replicating the incredible natural processes that our planet uses to regulate carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. The future of innovation in biological CDR requires us to think and act in tandem with global communities and ecosystems. My name is Mitch Rubin, and I'm the Managing Director of Portfolio and Investments at Elemental Impact. And I'm excited about the Climate Tech Map. In January 2020, I was getting my master's degree in sustainability management. During that time, carbon dioxide removal was just starting to become something tangible, and nature-based solutions was a new concept to me. I remember reading the book Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, which fundamentally opened my eyes to how we all can and must interact with the living environment, particularly as we seek to develop the right climate solutions in harmony with communities and stakeholders and deploy them in a way that benefits all species. Overshooting 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming is inevitable, and recent global policy pullbacks are only slowing the speed by which we are decarbonizing. It will require us to remove between 5 and 16 gigatons of CO2 by 2050, and we are nowhere close. CDR is essential both now and into the future to pull us back to a stable climate. The best method for removing CO2 today is through biological processes. Trees, grasses, agricultural biomass, soils, and marine life have been sequestering carbon biologically for millennia. Biological CDR will continue to be crucial forevermore, especially given the incredible co-benefits these CDR approaches often provide to ecosystems of all kinds, be it biodiversity gains, clean air, fresh water, reduced wildfire risk, and more. The innovation needed to improve biological CDR is mostly around 1, improving durability of sequestration, and 2, monitoring, reporting, and verification, or MRV. Organic carbon naturally decomposes or is consumed and respired through the circle of life. This also makes it difficult to say how much carbon is stored at any time and where. Gaps here create uncertainty, a dirty word that every investor and customer fears. We must find ways to address both aspects through new innovations. Doing so will unlock the capital needed to finance their deployment at a much larger scale. One way to dramatically improve biological CDR is biomass preservation. Biomass means plant-based material like trees, grasses, and agricultural waste. Plants are very good at pulling carbon dioxide out of the air through photosynthesis. But when this plant material dies and breaks down, much of that carbon goes right back into the atmosphere. Scientists are working on new, low-cost ways to preserve biomass so the carbon stays locked away for hundreds of years. By turning leftover wood, crop residues, or farm waste into stable materials, such as biochar, we can store carbon long-term instead of letting it escape, creating a simple and scalable way to remove CO2 from the air. MRV stands for Measurement, Reporting, and Verification. Essentially, this means checking how much carbon is actually being stored and where. For biological solutions, this is critical to understanding the amount of carbon that is still stored and how much has been released back to the atmosphere, be it through natural decay, land clearing, or other factors. Moreover, it's not just carbon. Given we're talking about nature-based solutions, we need MRV to illustrate the full suite of co-benefits and ecosystem services that are occurring with each project. A combination of new technologies in the realm of on-the-ground sensors, laser-based measurements, and satellites can help track carbon more accurately. The challenge is finding ways to ensure accuracy, use these tools reliably and collectively, and at low cost, so that biological carbon removal can be measured at large scale without making projects too expensive to operate. There is still so much to be learned from the existing ways that our planet has managed CO2 over millennia. Nature already uses self-replicating systems, like forests and phytoplankton blooms, that cycle carbon from the air and ocean at large scale. By engineering plants and algae that can grow and spread on their own while capturing more CO2, we can create a low-cost, scalable way to remove carbon that expands with minimal human effort. This might include enhanced ocean algae, root-deepening crops, or other fast-growing marine organisms. However, while this approach offers huge potential, it also carries critical risks that must be carefully considered. In particular, unintended ecological disruption, which can impact the food web and biodiversity, and create downstream environmental consequences for communities. There are also challenges in governance and permanence to address. But if managed responsibly, it could become a powerful, living carbon sink that grows stronger over time. My advice would be get out there, be among these living systems, and see how they operate yourself. Having that exposure is crucial to finding your own connection to the work, which only leads to learning about all the different ways that these natural systems can really provide incredible benefits across carbon removal and all types of ecosystem services. Of all the climate solutions out there, there is something unique about working within nature-based solutions and biological carbon removal that really brings about this feeling of inner connection, and with that, inner resilience to the various challenges that we're facing each day. I wish everyone understood with biological carbon removal that it's not a simple math equation. Living systems are extremely complex, and there are so many unknown unknowns that we are confronting and learning about each day. So thinking with this lens of how all the solutions will interact with each other is the best way to find ourselves on a clear path to solving these crises. When deploying biological CDR solutions, it involves intentional engagement with the local stakeholders and stewards of the communities with which you're working. These stakeholders have all of the history and context and important connections to the land and the ecosystems which you might be trying to work with. Working closely with these key stakeholders will lead to both more responsible deployment and a more successful deployment of your project.